Disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. All use is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
However, he dismisses her, saying that his son can't survive without his money and will eventually come back to him. When that happens, he plans to force Fu to give her up. But Wang laughs it off, saying that Fu has grown up and doesn't need his father's money anymore, as he's planning to start his own company. Just then, Fu arrives, expecting his father to scold him, but instead his father surprises him by giving him advice about the new business. He even tells Fu to reach out if he needs anything. Fu thanks him and says he plans to rely on himself, then leaves with Wang. The heroine goes to collect her things from the dorm since she's graduating. She runs into the dorm supervisor, who remembers her because she was always late. The supervisor mentions she knows a handsome guy who works with her husband in the lab, clearly referring to the hero. The heroine smiles, thanking her but politely declining, saying she already has a boyfriend. The hero then helps her carry her bags as they head home. At home, the heroine finds a large sum of money in her bag that she had forgotten about. She tells the hero they should put it to good use, and they decide to spend it wisely. They go to the mall and buy a bunch of items to redecorate their apartment. When they return, they spend time decorating together, enjoying the process. After finishing, they collapse onto the bed exhausted but happy, gazing at each other sweetly. Later, the heroine decides to wash the bed sheets. The hero offers to sleep on the couch so she can have the bed, but she refuses, saying she's used to sleeping on the couch. However, while trying to sleep, she accidentally hurts her ear. The hero checks on her and says, "If you don't sleep in the room, I'll sleep on the couch with you." She runs to her room and locks herself in. But later that night, she wakes up to a noise in the living room. When she checks, she finds the hero struggling to sleep on the couch since he's not used to it. She tells him to come sleep beside her on the bed, saying that they need to trust each other. He agrees, feeling tense at first, but eventually falls asleep from exhaustion. This time, it's the heroine who stays up watching him. The next day at work, the heroine is shocked when her friend informs her that their boss published her work under someone else's name. She's upset because all her hard work and effort went to someone else. She returns home feeling defeated, and the hero notices something is off. He asks if she's feeling unwell, and she vents to him about what happened. Frustrated, he hugs her, trying to comfort her, but she pulls away, accusing him of not understanding how she feels. This hurts the hero, and he leaves her alone. Later that night, while the hero is watching a horror movie, the heroine sits beside him, attempting to make amends, but the hero, still upset, avoids her. She feels like she's becoming a burden and starts crying, which softens the hero's heart. He forgives her, but she's still not satisfied, so he jokingly offers his arm for her to bite to vent her frustration. She takes the opportunity to leave a playful mark on his arm, which he promises to remember. The hero then hugs her and kisses her forehead, telling her that he's willing to hack into the company's system to make sure her name gets credit. She laughs and tells him it's not that serious. The next day, the hero goes to the lab and informs his colleagues that the results for the scholarship will be announced today. The professor arrives with their German colleague and announces that the hero has scored the highest marks and won the scholarship. One of his friends is disappointed because he wanted the scholarship too, but the professor encourages him to try again next year. The professor then sits with the hero, advising him to inform his family about the scholarship and travel plans. The hero begins to worry about how he will break the news to his girlfriend. Later, he meets her at the university and takes her to the lab to tell her. To lighten the mood, he puts his lab coat on her and then reveals, "I passed and will have to travel to Germany for further studies in 2 weeks." Contrary to his expectations, the heroine congratulates him at first, but then the reality hits her and she asks how long he'll be gone. He tells her 6 months. She gets upset and scolds him for keeping the travel plans a secret, but he explains that he wasn't sure if he'd win the scholarship. Despite understanding, she's still hurt, takes off the lab coat and leaves the lab, telling him not to follow her. She was happy just a moment ago, but her emotions are all over the place now. Later that night, the group of friends gathers for one last time after graduation. The hero tries to cheer up the heroine, but she's still upset with him and stays quiet. The day ends, and the hero pretends to be drunk and out of his senses so he can get closer to her. She knows he's faking it, but still supports him back home. When they arrive, he apologizes for hiding the travel plans from her and assures her that she's more important to him than the scholarship. He even says he's willing to give up the trip for her. Touched by his words, she hugs him and admits that she'll miss him, but that she can't stand in the way of his future. She promises to wait for him until he returns, and he's genuinely happy to hear that. The next day, she goes with him to the hospital for his travel medical tests. When it's time for the blood test, the hero, who's squeamish about blood, wears sunglasses to hide his discomfort. After the shot, the heroine notices he's bleeding from the injection site and quickly grabs some cotton to clean the wound. When they get home, she jokingly suggests, "I'll hide in your suitcase, and you can take me with you." The hero picks her up, hugs her, and says, "I know you'll miss me, but not that much. I won't be gone for long." As the day of his departure arrives, she accompanies him to the airport, trying to stretch out their time together as long as possible. When it's time for his flight, she can't hold back her tears and breaks down. The hero hugs her tightly, asking her to take care of herself. She forces a smile, saying goodbye, but as she walks away, she's visibly heartbroken. Afterwards, she returns to the company and with her friend confronts the manager, demanding that they get proper credit for their work. When the manager refuses, they both resign and leave together. Meanwhile, the hero arrives at his new job in Germany, wearing a suit and sunglasses, looking like a successful businessman. But the office is empty except for one person, Wang, who suggests he take out a loan to hire staff and properly run the company. Back at home, the heroine's mother moves in with her to keep her company. The hero calls her by a video chat from Germany, reassuring her that he's doing well. During the call, a beautiful foreign girl appears in the background and asks the hero to date her, but he politely declines, saying he already has a girlfriend. Afterward, the heroine discovers a note from her boyfriend saying that she can travel to visit him, but there's a condition her mom has to approve. She goes to ask her mom, who agrees, but only if she convinces him to get married. The heroine jokes, "Don't worry, your daughter's got this. She'll know how to reel him in." She packs her bags and flies to Germany the next day to surprise him. When the hero returns to his place, he's worried because he's been trying to call the heroine and sending her messages, but she hasn't responded. As he enters his room, he's shocked to find her sleeping on his bed. He can't quite believe it, so he quietly covers her with a blanket to make sure she's comfortable. Of course, he indulges in his favorite pastime from the series, watching her sleep. The next morning, the heroine wakes up and is surprised to see her favorite mug beside her, not realizing that the hero brought it with him to remind him of her. At that moment, the hero is talking with the foreign girl again, who's still trying to convince him to be with her because she doesn't believe he has a girlfriend. But suddenly, the heroine appears, hugs the hero, and tells the girl that she's his girlfriend. The girl is embarrassed and leaves. After that, the couple sits down and talks, and the hero asks her to get dressed because they're going somewhere. He takes her to a church, leaving the heroine confused about why they're there. The hero surprises her by holding her hand and proposing, asking her to spend her life with him. She agrees, of course, and they're both thrilled to finally be married. But when they return home, the heroine playfully takes on the role of the nagging wife. She complains, saying, "You tricked me. You didn't give me a wedding, no dress, not even a ring." The hero pretends to faint, and she starts playfully hitting him to snap him out of it. He grabs her hand, and we all know what happens next. After 6 months, they pack their bags and return to their home country. While unpacking, the hero tells her he married her there to prove he couldn't live without her, but they still need to have a proper wedding and invite all their friends and family. They go and take a photo for their marriage certificate. Back at home, the heroine starts looking for a new job after quitting her last one, but her chivalrous husband tells her not to worry about it and hands her his credit card, saying, "Spend whatever you want, darling." The heroine is surprised to learn that he received a large sum of money from the scholarship. She's happy her husband isn't stingy, but she promises him that she won't spend much and will save the money. Switching back to our hero Fu, he's out walking with his girlfriend along the Corniche. He surprises her by getting down on one knee, showing her a ring and proposing. She's shocked and will pretend to be surprised too, but she says yes. Fu is overjoyed, picks her up, and spins her around in disbelief. The wedding day arrives, and our handsome hero wears a sharp suit. The heroine appears in her wedding dress looking like a dream. The hero takes her hand and tells her he loves her. Then they hop in the car, and she drives them off. Their friends follow in another car, all of them happy. 3 years later, we see them living together with their adorable son Mo, and the three of them live happily ever after. And with that, the series ends. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed our K-drama recaps, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out more recaps on our channel. Take care.